In the beginning, people had only their own muscles and the muscles of animals to do their work. So they learned to use the energy of the wind, and they learned to use falling water to do their work. Then people learned how to use steam to drive an engine. First wood and then coal supplied the fuel. Then they learned how to burn oil inside an engine to give them power. Then people found a whole new source of power. Well, what do we do now? It looks as if we have a problem. We've become dependent on electrical power. We like it because it's clean, it's inexpensive, and it will do almost any work you can think of. Are we running out of power? If we keep doing things the way we are today, yes. 10 years ago, we used 1/2 as much electricity as we do now. In 10 more years, we'll use twice as much as we do now. For the present, we can meet our requirements if we just use what we actually need. But our real #1 problem is that we're going to run out of known energy sources as we keep increasing our demands for power. The world's known reserves of oil are likely to run out within 50 years. That's within your lifetime. The world's known reserves of natural gas will probably run out within 15 years if we continue to use it at the present rate. The world's known reserves of natural uranium ore for atomic fuel can run out within 50 years. The world's known reserves of coal will probably last for another 500 years. However, if we keep doing things the same way, it will become more expensive as we are forced to dig the coal that is farther away and deeper in the ground. A second problem is the way we're producing power now endangers our environment. Let's examine the 3 major ways that we produce electricity and see how these problems apply to them. We produce electricity by steam power, by water power, and by atomic power. The largest amount of our electrical power comes from conventional steam turbine power plants. The fuel, which can be either coal, oil, or gas, is burned to heat water in boilers. The steam produced is directed against the blades of a turbine, causing it to rotate. The turbine is connected by a shaft to an electric generator. As this generator rotates, it produces electricity, which is carried out of the plant to transformers. Here it is stepped up to a high voltage and sent throughout the country on those transmission lines you've seen so often. Steam turbine power plants are not too costly to build, and they're pretty dependable. But there are other problems. Problem one: coal and oil and natural gas are energy sources used to run these plants. They come from the ancient deposits of fossilized plant and animal life squeezed down into the Earth's crust 250 million years ago. When these fuels are used up, there will be no more. Problem number two: these plants pollute the environment. They put chemicals, including sulfur oxides and nitrogen oxides, into the air. And hot water used to cool the steam after it's done its job is pumped back into the rivers. Another way to produce electricity is in hydroelectric power plants. Here, gravity provides the energy. A large river is dammed, and the water contained behind the dam is allowed to run downhill through huge pipes past the blades of a turbine. The rushing water rotates the turbine, which is directly connected to an electric generator. Hydroelectric power sounds as if it has everything. The operation of the plant is inexpensive. It's clean, and it's efficient. But damming a river interrupts the natural flow of life. You can't float downstream on a river that's dammed. And fish have some problems swimming upstream, too. However, the real problem is we can't build enough of these plants on existing rivers to meet more than a small amount of our power needs. The third major source of electric power is the atom. We're building more of these atomic-fueled electric generating plants all the time. Uranium fuel, in the form of long rods, is used to create a controlled nuclear chain reaction in the core of an atomic reactor. Did you ever see a chain reaction? You can't really see it, because it is a chemical action which takes place inside the core when two different chemical elements are brought into contact. This chain reaction is controlled by inserting rods of cadmium metal. The heat which is developed by the controlled reaction converts water to steam, which in turn is directed against the blades of a large turbine. From here on, it operates the same as other generating systems. It costs more to build this plant than a coal-burning plant, but once it's built, this method of generating electricity is efficient, economical, and clean. One pellet of uranium fuel has the energy of a ton of coal. Its waste products are small in comparison with coal, although waste fuel must be carefully handled due to the dangers of radioactivity. If these plants are so perfect, why don't we just build atomic generating plants and forget the others? Well, for one thing, uranium fuel is not available in large quantities, and the world's known reserves probably won't last 50 years unless we develop better ways of using it that will stretch our present supply. It doesn't make sense to build too many of these plants until our engineers have developed the best possible system. Our demands for electricity are increasing at a rate that doubles consumption about every 10 years. Should people just keep on using it at this rate until we run out? what can you do as an individual? Do you know how private citizens can participate in decisions about electrical power in your community? Whatever we do about today's problems, we must concentrate all our scientific resources on developing new ways to provide more electricity in the future without harm to our environment. Much work is being done by scientists and engineers on different power applications of gas, oil, coal, wind, the tides, and even the sun itself. But new technical developments in the atomic power field suggest that the best answer may be found in the atom. The nuclear reactors we see today produce heat by the fission or breaking apart of atoms. This occurs in uranium fuel in the central core of the reactor. But a new type of reactor is being developed called the fast breeder reactor. This reactor produces additional nuclear fuel as it operates, thus making it possible to more than double the amount of electricity we can produce from the same amount of fuel. The second promising possibility is the fusion reactor, which will harness the energy in the hydrogen atom, one of the most plentiful of all chemical elements. Atomic fusion, the same chemical action that fuels the sun, may someday provide us unlimited power, power that will meet our needs for years to come. In the beginning, people had only the energy of the sun, their own muscles, the animals, the wind and the water to do their work. Today, coal, oil, natural gas, and the atom have given us great benefits, comforts and conveniences that we take for granted. But we're using up those energy sources. We need to find new ways to produce power. Are there some totally new sources of energy that are yet to be found? Are there some new ways to use the sources we already have? Perhaps in the school classrooms of today are the scientists and engineers who will find the answers.